Hello, AFI Movie Club. I'm Liz Hanna. I am the co-writer of The Post, your movie for today. I am also an AFI alum, so there's a twofer there. I hope you guys enjoy the movie. The first thing to shout out here is Rick Carter.
You ran here?
He built Kay's entire first floor of her house, as well as entire backyard. It's the best stage work I've ever seen, which is why he's the best.
I didn't understand at first, but now everything is in a different light. Our source might be the same as the New York Times.
Okay.
If so, we could be held in contempt.
Meaning?
Well, we could all go to prison.
We gotta also shout out the caftan here, Anne Roth, on our leading lady, Meryl Streep.
Catherine, I've come to realize just how much you have at stake.
I didn't know about Kay growing up other than that she was involved in the Washington Post and that she was powerful in Washington. I read her memoir, Personal History, when I was in my early 20s. If nobody watching this has read it, they absolutely should. It won the Pulitzer Prize. It's an incredible memoir. It's also very self-reflective and very self-diagnosing in a way of her life. And she wrote it like a journalist, and she interviewed almost everyone she'd ever met or talked to. And so I think it really stuck with me of just how vulnerable she was about her mistakes, about her choices. And so I was really drawn into that, and to read this book and then be able to tell this story with my co-writer, Josh Singer, about truly a woman finding her voice and a coming of age film about a woman who's in her mid 50s was really exciting to us. This actually was a working printing press that we found, walking distance to the stages, which is crazy. This is Katharine Graham's real house. We were able to sort of give it a fresh coat of paint and light it, which was exciting. And so a little bit of the real Kay. Got to thank Don Graham and Will Graham and Lally Graham Weymouth for all their help in securing that. So the thing about this scene that is really amazing, speaks to a lot of what Steven Spielberg did to bring the tension of a thriller to a movie where the papers have already been found and, within the first few minutes of the movie are published by another paper. But he really did make a moral and ethical conversation and decision thrilling. And I think the editing of this, Michael Kahn and Sarah Brochard, our two editors, really working in tandem with Steven to create this tension, keep the momentum going, is really remarkable.
We can all appreciate why Ben wants to publish, and if these papers had come from someone else, we might have been able to skirt the issue.
So this scene was always intended to be ultimately the culmination of the entirety of the movie, which is Kay Graham trying to find her voice. We meet her in the opening of the film, and in the first scene in the Washington Post, she's surrounded by all these men, and that was something that felt really relatable about Kay to me. And now she's forced to really swallow all of that silence and all of that insecurity and make the most important decision of her life, and probably of her paper's life. Not probably, definitely.
Based on the conversations I've had with my friends at Cravath, I believe a criminal indictment would qualify as a catastrophic event. And given the likelihood of indictment now, Kay, it could...
Yes, I understand. We have a responsibility to the company, to all the employees, and to the long-term health of the paper.
Absolutely, Kay.
Yes. However,
I love how Meryl plays this.
the prospectus also talks about the mission of the paper, which is outstanding news collection and reporting. Isn't that right?
Yes?
And it also says that the newspaper will be dedicated to the welfare of the nation and to the principles of a free press.
Yes, but...
So...
I love that she puts her hand up to Fritz and that she is standing on her own 2 feet and excited about being able to use all this knowledge that she's gathered. She's so proud and articulate and intelligent about this paper.
Can you guarantee me that we could go to print without endangering any of our soldiers?
You can't be considering going...
I'm talking to Mr. Bradley now.
Such an epic Meryl moment. Bradley Whitford obviously knows a thing or two about what happens in Washington. It was a very exciting thing to have him involved in this.
And it's entirely her decision.
Kay, you're allowing Mr. Bradley to lead you to folly. The legacy of the company is at stake, and if you want to
Arthur.
protect that legacy...
This company's been in my life for longer than most of the people working there have been alive, so I don't need the lecture on legacy.
I love the smile on Hank's face.
And this is no longer my father's company. It's no longer my husband's company. It's my company. And anyone who thinks otherwise probably doesn't belong on my board.
Boom. I love it.
Can you guarantee me that we could get up-
100%.
All right, then. My decision stands, and I'm going to bed.
It's such a phoenix rising from the ashes moment for me. Kay finally standing up to all of the guys who said that she wasn't smart enough and that they are all just stunned into silence that she had the balls to do it.
It's Ben Bradley. Run it.
Yes, sir. Start it up.
There you go. She did it. This was my first movie that I ever wrote, and the bar has been set a little high, not just because of all of the people involved in the film, how talented they are, but because of their humanity and how wonderful they are and what they taught me just outside of being a professional in this film. There were tons of women on this movie that were all so empowered to tell this story about this woman, and to see it up close and to see how engaged and how experienced and how graceful they are in that was something that was hugely impactful for me. Looking from 1971 to 2021, it's been 50 years, which is crazy. Not a lot, unfortunately, has changed. Kay Graham was the first CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I think there's under 10% of Fortune 500 companies with female CEOs. In terms of the press, obviously, cable news did not exist at that time. I'm sure that that would have been problematic for everybody. They would have had opinions about that. But I think more than anything, what Kay and Ben Bradley and everyone involved in this story would have felt is that we as a people have to support the journalists who are reporting the facts, and we have to support print journalism, and we have to support that just because you say something doesn't make it true. And we need to go back to all agreeing that North is North.